Okay, so, we got back from the cruise and we had like 4 days in Miami. And it was really interesting. It was the last full day that we were there. It was the day after Valentine's, I think it was.
It was Valentine's night.
Oh, it was Valentine's night. That's right, because everybody was dressed up really nice. So anyway, we're driving, and as you know, if you're in a new city or whatever, it can get kind of complicated. And so Doug was driving us, and we're driving around, and it's getting, you're driving, and people are backseat driving, and GPS isn't working, and we're getting a little testy with each other. And so we wind up finally getting to the Versailles restaurant in Little Havana. And so we get out of the car, and this gentleman comes up to us. And now we've been in Miami for 4 days. We haven't seen a homeless person. We haven't seen a car that's a beat up, banged up thing. Nothing. I mean, this is a thriving, prosperous, huge city. And so we get out of the car, and suddenly there's this man in front of us, and he reeks. I mean, my nostrils were offended, okay? And so I'm like going, whoa, and he just comes up and he says, I'm really, really sick, and I need some money to go to the doctor. Is there any way that you can give me some money to go to the doctor?
He asked for $2.
And he asked for $2, which, obviously we know what doctor he was going to go see. So anyway, we were standing there, and it was Doug and Janet, Larry, Vickie, and he was right here. And these two beautiful people got out of their car, and they looked over at us, and I just saw this look of disgust come over their face that we were encountering with this gentleman. And I just remember thinking, like what Jen said, that's what he expected from us, that we would reject him. So Larry reached in his pocket, Janet reached in her pocket, and as we were talking to him, one of the things Larry said, he said, I'm just really sick. There's things in my body, and trying to, explain his circumstance. And Larry said, well, can we pray for you? And he immediately, his whole countenance, everything about him changed. And this wall went up, and he said, well, don't you tell me that God doesn't know my heart. And I went, whoa. And he was very much in our face. And all I could think of was exactly what Jen said. The expectation was that we were going to withhold our money, make him say the sinner's prayer, and then we would give him his money, because that's what's happened in his past. And Larry says, you're absolutely right. God does know your heart. And Janet, being Janet, she goes, oh, yeah, I can totally see that God loves you. And I'm standing there, and I'm watching the beautiful couple walking down, judging this guy, and just trying to get a sense of what the Lord was saying to him. And, tears came into his eyes because somebody somewhere told him that his heart wasn't good. And we just came, and Larry said, well, just let me just pray over your health. And then boom, we just prayed. And it was really cool because it was a divine encounter, because if you had been driving around for as long as we had been driving around figuring where we wanted to eat or anything like that, the fact that we got where we got and we're still friends, no, I'm just kidding. And Doug said, oh my gosh, God had us driving around until this guy got to this parking lot until we got there.
Yeah.
And so, you never know why you're driving around in a strange city, going to a strange restaurant. You're going to have an encounter. But it was just beautiful watching him, and he took our money and disappeared, and he went to his doctor. But God loves his heart.
Amen. That's good.